The sound of spinning tires on gravel should have been my first warning. Honestly, I should have known that morning was going to cost me more patience than fuel. There's Karen, silver SUV, license plate frame. About HOA proud, barreling up to the brand new steel gate I'd sunk into the ground just hours before. She came to a screeching halt so close to that gate, I thought her bumper might kiss it. Her face squished up against the windshield like a barn owl with an attitude. Behind her, I counted at least 8 shiny sedans and minivans, beach chairs poking out the windows, coolers wedged into back seats, sun hats and towels stacked so high it looked like the world's most confused beach parade. Me? I just sat there, right on the tailgate of my pickup, coffee in hand, soaking in the show. That's the kind of morning it was, where you already know the ending, you just don't know how messy the middle's gonna get. She threw her car door open hard enough that it bounced, and then she hollered across the gravel. "You can't block community property. Mark, move that gate right now before I call the cops." She really landed on those words, community property, like she was reciting gospel. I stood up, slow as molasses, brushed the dust off my jeans, and just pointed to the metal sign right next to the gate. Private fishing lake. Trespassers will be prosecuted. Her army of guests was peering through their windshields, confused, like they'd shown up to the wrong amusement park and weren't sure whether to ask for a refund or a map. I took a sip of my coffee and said, "Karen, this isn't community property. It's my property. Your GPS just dumped you at my driveway." And I swear, I watched the color drain right out of her cheeks, replaced by this angry flush, the kind you only see on people who get called out in public and don't know how to recover. She started marching over, heels clacking on the rocks, each step like a warning shot. "I have the HOA map, Mark. The board approved the lake as a shared amenity. You can't just put up a gate because you feel like it." She was doing that thing where every sentence sounds like a courtroom cross-examination. I just leaned against the fence post and handed her my freshly laminated deed, made copies just for moments like this. She didn't even glance at it. Instead, she turned back to her parade, waving her arms. "Everyone just park anywhere along the edge. The HOA owns this part anyway." Suddenly, car doors started popping open like kernels on a hot skillet. I sighed and said, "If one tire crosses that fence line, you're trespassing." The sheriff already confirmed that when I registered the gate yesterday. Her eyes went sharp. "You called the sheriff for this? To stop your neighbors from enjoying nature?" I couldn't help but smile just a little, enough to get under her skin. "No, to stop people from dumping beer cans and sunscreen into my cracked open his cooler anyway." Then, as the first car inched forward, I hit the remote. Hydraulic posts started rising out of the gravel, slow, loud, metal grinding like a drawbridge at a medieval castle. Karen went silent mid-sentence. "You did not just install security posts," she said, half shriek, half disbelief. "Actually, I did," I told her. "Cost me less than one of your HOA fines." The crowd that had been ready to fish was now starting to whisper. Some people were already backing their cars out. "This isn't over," Karen shouted, waving her phone. "I'm calling the police." I shrugged. "Good. They already know the address." And sure enough, 10 minutes later, the sheriff's cruiser pulled up, lights spinning slow, like even his car knew this was routine. He stepped out, gave me this tired look. "Morning, Mark." "Morning." Karen launched into her greatest hits. Blocked community property, harassment, guests waiting to use the lake. The sheriff turned to me. "You got the paperwork again?" I handed him my deed. He flipped through, sighed. "Property line extends 50 feet past that tree line. The lake is on his side." Karen blinked. "That can't be right." "The HOA map." He cut her off. "HOA maps don't override county deeds. You're on private land." For a second, it was so quiet you could hear the birds settling back into the trees. One of her guests asked if there was another fishing spot nearby. Karen spun and yelled, "No one leaves. We have rights." The sheriff turned to me. "Want to press trespassing charges?" I looked at the families, the kids, the rods. "Not today," I said. "But if they cross the line again, I'll have to." He nodded and left. Karen's hands shook as she hissed, "You'll regret this. Mark, I'll have the board revoke your access, your permits, your peace of mind." I just leaned on the fence and told her, "You can't revoke what you never owned." She slammed her door, peeled out. and the rest of her army scattered, leaving behind nothing but tire marks and the sharp smell of humiliation. But here's the thing. You don't just walk away from a fight like that and expect it to end. Karen's not built for quiet loss. That night, as I locked the gate, I saw a drone hovering low above the lake. Her model, no doubt, camera pointed straight at my dock. That was the moment I realized this was just getting started. The next morning, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. The neighborhood group chat was on fire. Karen had posted a manifesto, complete with emojis and accusations, claiming I'd blocked access to the community lake, harassed residents, compromised harmony. Underneath, 50 comments, some defending her, some asking when the lake had ever been public, a few just posting popcorn gifs. Then she dropped a map, her own updated HOA boundaries, with a big red circle over the lake, clearly photoshopped, the kind of thing a bored teenager could spot as fake. She even signed it, approved by HOA President Carino. It would have been hilarious if half the neighborhood didn't start debating it. That afternoon, a letter landed in my first. Jake said, "She'll dig her own grave." And he was right. Friday night, the place was packed. Karen, in a red blazer, binder in hand, PowerPoint blazing, protecting our community rights. She started in, laser pointer dancing over her fake map. The boundary extends to include the north half of the lake. Residents are entitled to free access without interference. She ignored my raised hand, kept going, called me out for erecting barriers, gates, hydraulic posts. The room murmured. Jake whispered, "She really hates those posts." Finally, she called for a motion. "Fine, Mark. Remove the gate." I walked to the front, took the clicker. "Appreciate the effort, Karen. Next time, use the right map." Click. Jake's county map appeared, surveyor's stamp, signatures, everything. Could hear the projector's fan. "That map is outdated." Karen shrieked. "We updated it last year." Jake snorted. "With what authority?" "County jurisdiction beats a clipboard." The room laughed. I held up my phone, played a clip, her voice on drone footage. "Cash only for lake permits." She sputtered, "Donation drive." Laughter rolled around the room. Doug, the quiet board president. "Long as you're not blocking HOA roads." Karen was fuming, but Jake leaned in. "Do it. File with the county. They'll ask for shared ownership, which you don't have." As the crowd filed out, a woman whispered to me, "Honestly, we're tired of her scaring everyone. The lake's beautiful. You just take care of it." But Karen wasn't done. The next day, loud music echoed across the lake, dozens of cars, people partying, kids splashing, and Karen with a megaphone, banners everywhere. Community Lake celebration. She was charging for tickets again, right on my land. I walked over, held up a Community Day ticket, her signature in blue marker. "You're trespassing, Karen." She smiled. "Correction, we're celebrating. The HOA approved this event. Spirit's not what the deed." Circled overhead. "You can't record people without consent," she shrieked. "Didn't you say your drone was for safety patrols?" I shot back. Suddenly the music cut out. People started packing up. "Fundraiser. For what charity?" he asked. She froze. "Community improvement." "Permit," he said. "You don't have one." He turned to me. "Want to press charges?" I looked at the families, the rods. "Not today. Just get them out." Karen was left clutching her fists, shrieking, "One day people will see who you really are. Hopefully not through your Photoshop filters." I shot back. She screamed, but her voice cracked. The sheriff gave her a warning. I found signs she left behind. Future HOA dock expansion. I tossed them in my truck. That night, security footage went into a private folder. Next morning, HOA emails accused me of threatening community unity. Blurry photos of me, menacingly holding a phone. Jake laughed. "She's digging her own grave. You should report her." I told him. "I want her to make one more mistake, something even the board can't ignore." That evening, fresh tire tracks led to the dock. Beer cans, fishing line. Karen's car caught on my camera after sunset. She was sneaking back, hoping I wouldn't notice. I called the county environmental office, sent them the footage. Next morning, county inspectors showed up, took photos. "You're clear, sir." Whoever organized this could face fines for environmental negligence. Karen was on her porch, screaming into her phone. She wasn't fighting a stubborn neighbor anymore. She was fighting the law. Justice really means when someone tries to rewrite your story. 10.